question of today is, will you be in a higher or lower tax bracket in retirement? Now, you've probably heard all your life that you'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. And do you think that's true? And my analysis is that's probably not going to be true for most people, especially if you've done a good job of saving money. And the reason why is because times have changed. And the main reason why, as I'm going to show you today, is because of Social Security. Social Security is now taxable to most people. Now, if your income is low enough, you may not have to pay any tax on Social Security. And if that's you, you will probably be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. The problem with most people that we see who watch this channel typically have a higher amount in tax-deferred investments, which means if they have to take out money from those tax-deferred investments, that's going to cause their Social Security to become taxable. So why has no one ever told you this before? Well, remember that before 1980, Social Security used to be tax-free. No one had to pay taxes when they received that Social Security benefit. If you received $3,000 a month, that was all in your pocket. None went to Uncle Sam. Now, if you take $3,000 out a month, you're not going to get $3,000 in your pocket. Some of that is going to go to Uncle Sam. So how do we keep that $3,000 in our pocket and live a tax-free retirement, or keep Social Security less taxable is the idea. So let me talk through Social Security tax for a second so you understand how that works. The way Social Security tax works, as I just showed you, is that if you have a low income, then you pay no taxes on Social Security. So I know what you're thinking. You have to be poor to have Social Security tax-free. That's true. Or you can be smart, right? And by being smart, you can show your income as low enough to qualify for Social Security to be tax-free. That's what we do with our clients. We have a lot of clients that get their Social Security check tax-free because we expect them to be in a higher bracket in the future, so we start planning now so that we can put them in a lower bracket in the future, is the idea. Now understand, once your income starts to increase, once you take Social Security, now you're starting to force more of your Social Security check to become taxable. And if you reach a certain point here, you'll have to pay a 40% or 50% tax rate, depending on your situation, if you take out money over this little period of time here, this little segment, which we'll show you here. So for most of our clients, we're trying to stay off what we call the Social Security tax torpedo, or we're trying to stay in the 0% tax bracket. So let's show you a picture here to really make it visual of what we're talking about here and how we can plan to keep us in the right positions here. To best illustrate the Social Security tax torpedo, I have up here on the screen a software that we use for our clients to show us when and where will they start to force Social Security to be taxable, and when does that Social Security tax torpedo. Remember when I explained that with my hands, that hey, if you're over here, you don't pay any tax on Social Security, but if you're here, you're going to pay more in taxes on Social Security. That's what I'm trying to illustrate right here. So if you see in this area here, that's the standard deduction. That is where you pay no taxes. That's where you're in the 0% tax bracket that I've been bringing up. And then every extra dollar that you have to take out from your RMD or from your tax-deferred investment is what I'm referring to here, is going to either be in a 0% bracket if you are in that bracket, but as soon as you start to reach this point of about $20,000, you're going to start to force yourself to be in the federal income tax of 10% and 12% and so on, but you're also forcing Social Security to start become taxable. So if you take out $20,000 from your investments, you're going to be right here on this chart, which means that majority of it is tax-free. So we're in a pretty good spot right there. The problem becomes as you start to take more and more and more out. So for example, let's say that we are taking $60,000 out from our investment. Well, you're going to force yourself to pay over 20% in taxes based on this chart. And so you're only in the 12% bracket, but you're forcing yourself all in to pay a total of 22% because now you're forcing more Social Security to be taxable. Versus if we never had that, let's say we only had to take out $40,000 instead of $60,000, well then that $20,000 we wouldn't have to pay as much Social Security tax on. We'd only have to pay Social Security tax on this amount here. We would get to avoid all of the additional. And so that's the point we're trying to bring up here. And then the Social Security tax torpedo that I'm circling right here, that's what we've been talking about. That's where, in this case, for this client, they would have to pay a 40% tax rate. So if their income was right here, and then they wanted to take out an additional $10,000, let's call it, they'd have to pay a 40% tax rate to do so, because they'd force themselves into the 22% bracket, and then they'd also force Social Security to become fully taxable, which 85% of Social Security become taxable, which means that their total tax rate for that period would be 40%, meaning they keep $6,000, Uncle Sam keeps the other $4,000. So imagine taking $10,000 out thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get $10,000, and then you go to your bank account and there's only $6,000 there. And so we want to avoid that. And so with our clients, our goal is to say right here on the torpedo, right before it, or to stay over here. And so in order to do so, we've got to do some tax planning strategies to keep our income lower in retirement. And so how do we keep our income lower in retirement? Well, I'll give you a quick tip that we're doing with a lot of our clients currently to keep their income lower in retirement, and that is a simple concept of a Roth conversion. Start taking your money from your IRA and moving it to your Roth and paying the taxes on it now while tax rates are lower and before they go higher in the future is ultimately the idea. And so if you're able to do these Roth conversions now, let's say you have $1 million in your IRA. Well, if we go back to our chart, if you have $1 million in your Roth IRA, you're going to have to take out about a $40,000 RMD right here when you get to retirement. So, you're not in a terrible position, but you're starting to force Social Security to become taxable. And you may think, well, I'm in the 12%, so I'm good. But no, you're actually paying an all-in more than that. And what if tax rates go up in 3 years in 2026, and now you're in the 15% federal, plus another 10 for Social Security. Now you're paying more, right? And so that's the idea that we're looking at here. And so for that type of client, if we've got a client with $1 million, maybe something what we do is maybe we try to reduce their RMD or reduce their IRA maybe down to like $400,000. So when they take out that RMD at age 73, now they're sitting right here on the bracket from their RMD. And so if we do that, that's going to force them to be in the 0% bracket, meaning they legally divorce the IRS for the rest of their life as a concept. Or maybe you say, let's say you have a $2 million IRA and you sit right here. For you, maybe what we want to look at is just doing enough Roth conversions, maybe not a ton, to get you right here so we don't have to hit the torpedo every year when we take our $80,000 of RMDs out each year. Or maybe we say, hey, let's just be really aggressive in these Roth conversions, especially these next 3 years. Let's try to do $200,000, $300,000 Roth conversions, and let's try to really get ourselves down even further on this map here. Okay? And understand that I'm showing the tax rates today on this tax map, but what is it going to look like in 3 years, and what's it going to look like in 10 years when tax rates increase? So you can already see how severe it is right now. What's it going to be when tax rates increase? How much worse is this going to look is ultimately the question. So that's a strategy there too. The other thing that we consider is, qualified charitable distributions, giving money to charity could lower your taxes there. But most of the strategy we look at here is through tax planning. It's through making sure you do stuff now to set yourself up better in the future. So now you know about the Social Security tax torpedo, so don't let that affect your retirement. Don't let that 40 to 50% tax rate, don't let Uncle Sam come in here and take 40 to 50% of your hard-earned life savings that you spent the last 30, 40 years accumulating. Have a plan so you don't have to worry about that torpedo every year for the rest of your life. So if you've enjoyed this videos, we do a lot more videos like this. Go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and put in the comments what other topics, what other things are on your mind. What else could we do videos on to make this a better channel for you all that watch each and every time. Have a great day.